Wonky eyebrow. Left half Vulcan. Right half. Who knows? So, that first video I did was scripted. And I feel like there were some things that I wasn't going to feel safe enough on this platform to do until I had that conversation. And I just laid it all out there for you, because as I'm starting to come out more, well, this has been a many-year process of trial and heartbreaking error of telling people that I'm disabled and telling people my financial situation. And there were certain conversations that I just wanted to nip right there in the bud. This isn't to say that people aren't going to still say those things to me that I was trying to answer, in a reasonable way in that first video. But, yeah, that's there. But that's not the format that I want. What I want is more this. Just me talking to you, talking things through, because I feel like the contents are under pressure here. There's a lot that I haven't been able to say because I haven't had actual allies in my life. I've had, what's the opposite of allies? That's what I've had. Is and what really sucks is they come off as being ally-like. They say all the right things until that key moment where I really, really need them. Not there. Not there. Anyway, and this is a format that I'm learning too. So there are a lot of problematic aspects of this. I'm doing this with just what I got. So, and lighting in the RV is pretty shitty everywhere. But I'm experimenting with different things and doing things scripted versus raw, and just seeing what I can do and trying not to compare what I can do with those that I've been inspired by, who have been doing this for maybe 10 years and who do this full time. And that's something that I will never be able to do unless some magical fairy comes along and just wishes away all of my disabilities, as people might in my life have really wished they could just wish them all away, because that's not what they wanted. But I don't think it's ever going to be. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do this full time. Just, raw with what I've got, bad lighting, whatever. It's like I had this love affair with New York City. I would go visit in the summer. This is when I had the money to do that. But I knew, man, there was no way. I mean, I'm in North Carolina. It's too cold here in the winter. And I can't afford living at the back ass end of nowhere. New York would swallow me without even chewing if I tried to live there. And it's the same with trying to make a living on YouTube. Swallow without even chewing. So I can't do that. I can never do that. But there's still that thing of I watch videos of the people that inspired me, and there's still this, kind of like, why am I not that? But I can't make those comparisons. I can't go down that road. Nobody wins in that game. I mean, it's not a competition. We can all have voices on this platform. And I'm just starting out, so obviously there are going to be a lot of, hiccups, things along the way that I learn, and it'll be hard, but I think I'm going to stick with it because I've done a lot of writing and I've started a blog, but I think I need to actually also have conversations, like face-to-face conversations. And this isn't that, but this can get me used to actually saying the things, putting them into words in a more sort of real-time way. Whereas with writing, I can spend 12 hours on a piece. But if I'm having a conversation, they're not going to wait around for 12 hours while I unpack what it is I need to say in the best possible way. And there's not a lot of resources around here for me to get used to those conversations because I have to have them with allies. I have to have them with people who will listen. And Toastmasters, not that place. No, because there's classism there. There's classism inherent in almost every single group that I would go to, and we can't talk about it. Because I'm poor, I would be the only poor person there, or the only poor person who wanted to talk about being poor. There might be other poor people there, but I suspect they're probably stuck at home being fucking poor, because you don't get a lot. And so I need to have conversations, but the people that I want to have conversations with don't exist around me. So, or if they do, I'm not able to find them. I'm going to start going to some places like the feminist group and LGBTQIA plus allies group that meet monthly. I'm going to try that out and see if there's intersectionality happening there, because what I'm worried about is coming across exclusionary activism, which I didn't know the term for, but that's been bothering me, which is where you have activists who are really, really focused on getting rights for, like, say, feminists who are really big on, like, feminism, on women having the same rights as men and all the same opportunities, but they're not there when it's Black Lives Matter. They're not there when it's transgender violence. You know, they're so hyper-focused on that one area of equality that they're kind of overlooking that, and overlooking the fact that there are transgenders who identify primarily female, and that there are Black women, and you know, that these things intersect. So I'm a woman, I'm a cis woman, and that's unfortunately well, not unfortunately, it's a privilege that I'm unpacking, like learning to unlearn gender binary. Oh, and it's so deeply embedded in there, along with so much else that's problematic. And I'm also poor, and I'm disabled. And there's some problematic aspects about disability, too, because, like, even when getting into the language, there are some things that I say that other disabled people would be offended by, and there are some things that they say that I'm offended by. So even within sort of a disability allies support group, there would be tension there, because I think everybody, like, has their own stuff, and I can't generalize anything. So don't take anything that you learn from me and decide that that's the whole narrative for disability, for anything that I disclose. Don't assume that, you know, whatever I share about any of my conditions or anything speaks to everyone who has that condition, because that's the basic problem of discrimination, is universalizing one story. The Dangers of a Single Story, TED Talk by Chimamanda Adichie. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Really good story about how we live in a bubble, each one of us, and tend to think about other people as having kind of like the same little watchtower guy up here, having the same experiences of life and everything, and it's so not true. I mean, there's however many billion people there are on the planet, there are that many universes coexisting on this planet and bumping up against each other, sometimes with extremely violent and nasty and deadly results. So, intersectionality. Places where our experiences overlap but also differ. And I want to find that in the activists locally, but if I don't, I'm kind of screwed. Yeah. And I made a blog post about what it is that I'm looking for in allies that goes into a little bit more in depth what specifically it is that I'm no longer going to be putting up with, which rules out almost absolutely everybody that I know and have ever known, and the things that I'm looking for, which are really rare. But yeah, so this video is really long. Thanks for sticking in there with me. And I promise I'll have one with actual content that's not just focusing on my particular life at some point soon. Thanks. Mwah. Have a good evening.